4. I really hope you enjoyed listening to chapter 2 of The Street Child. Now, your English lesson today is you are going to be punctuating direct speech. And if you look at the assignment, it says here that, oops, something has gone wrong and chapter 2 of The Street Child has been printed with no speech marks. Can you help Burley Doherty to put them back in the correct places? Now, when we think about punctuating direct speech, it is actually really difficult to remember all of the rules to be able to write speech sentences that are completely accurate. And there's a really fun way of trying to remember all of those rules, and that is to make yourself a speech mark sandwich. So I've got a PowerPoint that I just wanted to talk you through here, which is here how to make the perfect speech mark sandwich. It's making me feel hungry just thinking about it. So if you think about your speech sentence as a sandwich, I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but bear with me, I'm just going to explain what I mean now. So the first thing that you will get when you have any sandwich generally is you would have a piece of bread, and you need to think about your inverted commas or your first set of speech marks as that piece of bread, okay? It is ready to contain the sandwich. It is ready to contain your speech sentence. So your bread is the first set of speech marks. Now then, think about what you put on your bread. So I think most of you probably put butter or margarine on your bread. And that butter is going to help you remember that you must start your speech sentence with a capital letter. You always need a capital letter inside those first set of speech marks. So that is your butter. Now, your filling. This is what it says here, the meaty part. Oh, I suppose you could say cheesy part if you're having a cheese sandwich. This is your speech sentence. This is what your character is actually saying. This is the filling of your sandwich. Now, sometimes, if, for instance, I was having a cheese sandwich, I might like to have something on top of it. So I might like to have some relish on top of it, or what it says here, you might add a garnish. So that could be pickle, it could be mayonnaise. So that is to help you remember that you must have a punctuation mark at the end of your speech sentence before your second set of speech marks. So for instance, you might need to have a full stop, a comma, an exclamation mark, or a question mark to finish off the speech filling. Okay, and then to finish your sandwich, you will have a second bit of bread, and the second bit of bread is to represent your second set of speech marks. Okay, so here's an example that I would like to show you. Okay, it says here, open speech marks, that's your bread. A capital I, that's your butter. It's easy when you know how. That is your filling, your meaty part. Then you've got your garnish, your mayonnaise, or your relish, or whatever. That's your punctuation mark. And then you've got your bread, which is your final set of speech marks. Now, this sentence isn't quite complete because you need to always say who is speaking to let the reader know. So, like you would in school, if you were to have sandwiches, you would normally have a label, or at least on your lunchbox, to say who the sandwich belongs to. And you need to do that with speech. You need to say who the speech sentence belongs to. Okay, so you need to label your sandwich or label your speech sentence. And I've got an example here for you. I'll go right through from the start. So I've got my bread. That is my first set of speech marks. I've got my butter. That is my capital letter. I've got the speech sentence. That is what the character is saying. It's easy when you know how. Okay, that is my meaty part. That's my filling of my sandwich. I've got my garnish, which is my mayonnaise or my relish. That is my punctuation mark. I then have got my bread to finish my sandwich and to finish my speech sentence with that second set of speech marks. But like I just said, you need to say who the speech sentence belongs to. So I've got here, promised Mrs. Morgan and Miss Price. So we know who is saying that sentence. Okay, so you've got an activity where you need to log on and you need to choose a chili challenge. You need to put the punctuation marks in the correct places. 3 chili challenge, and for part of the 2 chili, you are going to write a fictional conversation between characters from The Street Child. Remember the additional rule that if you're writing a conversation, you need to start a new line for a new speaker. Good luck.